at what's going on. Here's a quick, I would say, long-term review on the surplus strength spotter arms, and a couple of reasons why I bought them. These things are really, really nice, and I'll get right to it. The main reason you want to look at buying something like this from Surplus Strength. Now, let's get the other thing out of the way. There are people copying Surplus Strength. Do not buy copies. That's just cheap imitation, and I think, honestly, it's getting a little bit out of hand in the fitness industry. You guys come up with good innovations, and then it gets copied. So Surplus Strength made these super compact here. That's what I like about them, and that is the big selling point on why you would buy these. So what I mean by that is, and take out my tape measure here and see if this works. You're about 7 inches. And what that means is that you're using up 7 inches of rack space on your rack. Why is that important? It's important because when you start to add in stuff like these safety straps here, we squat inside the rack and bench outside the rack. It's the way I've always done it. It's the way I like to do it, in a way that it works really well. Before, we had these guys, which have been moved over to the storage rack, and they still work, but I've got these Titan spotter arms. Now, I know I'm not a fan of Titan, not even close. But when I bought these, this was during COVID, that's the only thing you could get. So I know these are a copy of Rogue. I'm in almost 1-to-1, and yeah, that's one thing. But at the time, this is all I could get. So anyway, we've got the Titan arms. They are strong, however. I say that you could probably drive a tank over these things. But here's the issue with them, is now you're going to take up a ton of rack space. Let's look and see how much exactly that is. I'll try to lock this thing out. Don't do that. Okay, hang on. Here's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to do this. Lock this out. Okay. Come back down here. Let that drop down. So right there alone, you're 14 inches. So for 14 inches, I can't attach anything to the back side of this. No spotter arms, or not spotter, that's spotter arm, no, spotter straps or anything like that inside the rack. So that's a kind of a major problem for a lot of us. If you're like me, you've got the same issues I've got. You got a lot of stuff attached to your rack. You want to have versatility with it. The last thing you want is something taking up a ton of space. So these are 7 inches versus that 14. Now, a few other features that I really like about this. They've got this piece here that protects your, protects your face, your head, or whatever. And it's also got UMHW protected on it. And it's got this UMHW here and on here, which is really nice. The way this is all laser cut is super clean. The welds are super clean. It's just a really nice piece. One thing I will say is you need to have it pinned back here. I did find that this would rotate on me. If that's not pinned, there's a lot of play this way. And that's just inherent part of the design, and it's designed to have a pin here. So don't get lazy, put the pin in, that'll make it super solid, and that's gonna hold it in. I really like these things. I know they're expensive. I don't know what the pricing is on them now. This was back in my heyday of buying a lot of equipment, and right now I'm building trucks, so I'm not spending as much money on equipment, but I gotta say I'm happy with these things. The funny thing is, I don't drop a lot of, I usually don't lift anything I can't lift, so you'll see this is all pristine. So yeah, do they work? Yeah, they obviously work, but I'm not slamming bars down on them all the time. Am I confident in these things? Absolutely. They're super strong. And the way that it's built with that coming down here, and this is all boxed, so you can see all the welds on this is all boxed all the way around. It's got UMHW on the inside. This is on a rep rack, so there's going to be a little more play than if you put this on a Rogue rack. But overall, I'm really happy with them. If you had to buy one set of spotter arms and you don't mind spending a little bit extra money and buying something that's high-end and built in America, these are the ones I'd recommend for sure. And just because of that versatility of how much rack space they take up. So just a short video. I've had these for a while. I'm not saying that you have to buy them, but there's the reasons why you might consider it. So, all right, have a good one.